прохождение этого бреда сивой кобылы. Ёперный театр. А почему? Так, стоять. Как выглядит моя трансляция? Потому что я сейчас еще раз нажал запустить. И что-то запустилось. А что из этого? Ёперный театр. А почему? Так. Значит, трансляция запустилась только сейчас. Я тут уже полчаса с вами всеми разговариваю. Оказывается, пока я на самом ютубе не нажму запустить трансляцию, почему-то ОБС такую функцию утратил. Хотя раньше это не требовалось. Что ж, повторимся еще раз. Всем привет, вы на канале Виндыла, меня зовут Владислав, и сегодня мы будем мучить, в основном, конечно, мою психику, а в частности, такую игру, как Disco Elysium. Будем много читать, немного ходить. Я очень надеюсь, что у нас все-таки получится пособирать бутылки, если мы, конечно, не найдем способ заработка или вымогательства денег иным способом. И возможно, нам даже удастся снять с дерева этот злоебучий труп. Все, понеслась. Так, а как хоть микрофон-то на камере видно, а то я что-то... Прям видно, вот он, блядь, в кадре. Но я думаю, я весь черный микрофон, черный, сильно он вам мешать не будет. Учитывая тот факт, что никого нету, если кому-то будет мешать, пишите, пожалуйста, я в чате должен это все дело увидеть. Так, значит, мы закончили на том, что я пизданулся в обморок. Мне пришлось пройти еще один отвратительнейший же диалог со своей же лимбической системой, рептилоидным мозгом и прочей всякой хуйней, чтобы прийти в себя. И это все, это с 8 утра до часу дня. Это всего лишь 5 часов прошло в игре, блядь, и 3 из них были настоящие в жизни. Так, хуйня, война, доля. Значит, давайте все-таки перещелкаем все, что мы еще пока не перещелкали.
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center.
Так, здесь у нас, короче, куча всякого говна. И мы туда не пойдем. Значит, наше задание найти спиртное и выпить будет не сдано. Потому что я не дам ему нажраться. Никогда. Так, дальше. У нас 2 очка на жалкого копа. Очень интересно. Так, какой-то поломный гонщик перепрыгнул через канал. Поищите следы его дальнейших безумств на побережье к западу. Сначала нужно найти машину, на которой гонщик совершал свои эскапады. Но это попозже. Смотрите тело жертвы. Вот. С этим у нас некоторые вопросы и нюансы. Потому что, как я помню, несмотря на то, что я выбрал, блядь, более-менее хоть как-то, блядь, прокачанную психику, мой дебил все равно с нашатырем совсем однохуйственно не может никак с этим совладать. С собой, и пока мы не повысим еще сильнее...
Welcome to Free. Feel free to look around or something. Everything is out on the shelves.
Вот. Пока мы не поднимем нашу выдержку, его будет рвать без конца, и мы, короче, к трупу так и не притронемся. Ну да ладно.
What's that magazine she's reading?
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
No need to worry. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know, okay?
Okay. Uh-huh.
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The raincoats are transparent, except for the big Fritta slogan on the back. A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and their logo is the bloodless rose, pure white, untouched by harm.
Just ask me if you need anything from Saint Baptiste. We don't stock prescription meds, but we do have nosafed, duramine, magnesium, and hypnogamma.
А где же, блядь, нашатырь? Я вроде покупал в прошлом прохождении нашатырь.
I don't know. Let's see. Nosafed is a nasal spray. Duramine is a really good painkiller. Magnesium is a dietary supplement. Hypnogamma is... I don't really know what hypnogamma is. I guess it makes you feel less shit. It's recommended to use after lots of partying, studying, or exercising. No, sorry. I'm not like a doctor or anything.
Nosafed heals +1 health. Duramine heals +3 health. Magnesium heals +1 morale. Hypnogamma heals +3 morale.
Saint Baptiste, you know, Saint Baptiste Pharmaceuticals, the one that sells meds up.
She is right. Saint Baptiste, the company, derives its name from Saint Baptiste, the city. Itself so named because that's what it is. A rare case where that really is the full etymological history, as far as almost anyone knows, at least.
Ага, значит, мы не можем купить нашатырь ровно до тех пор, пока мне напарник не расскажет о том, что если тебе хуёво возле трупа, то и нашатырь ты не купишь. Ну, хуй с вами. Пошлите смотреть на труп в таком случае. Что с моими мыслями? Почти это самое. Почти успех.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. Heavy workers' boots with reinforced toes and hobnails, all over the yard. Isn't this something an industrial worker would wear?
Noted.
What do you think you are? A super detective? You're hungover. These are just dents in the mud. No pattern emerges for the time being.
Так, ага, у меня похмелье, но оно, блядь, ничем не лечится. Хотя вот этот гипногамма, походу, нам должна нихуя себе помочь от похмелья-то, собственно. Ну, блядь, ладно.
There he still is, looking right through you, with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does now.
Шансы 3%, потому что стойкости у нас полная пиздана. Вот она у нас, кстати, что? Ага. Ясно, блять. Понятно, как нам стойкость поднять? Никак. На шатырь мы даже купить не можем, пока не это самое.
The smell is repulsive. It pushes in from your mouth, more instant and more familiar than anything you expected, more fever than odor. It fills your mind. Too late. It's impossible to keep in. Your body curls and pushes it out, burst by burst, until a pool of vomit lies under your feet and your throat stings from the stomach acid.
It's okay. Happens to everyone. Keep it. The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. That young woman, the gardener, mentioned she used salts for the smell. If she doesn't have any, there might be some in the fleet store nearby.
Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white check. Modifiers make checks easier and allow you to retry them.
Да, вот только в прошлый раз не сработало. Ну, я имею в виду, я сходил за нашатырем, принял нашатырь, и меня один хуй вырвало второй раз, блядь. Он такой, заебанный рот, я и так к этому телу ничего не смог с ними сделать.
I can't believe it's snowing again. It felt like springtime just a few days ago. Sure, I'm done with them. Go easy on that stuff. It gave me a terrible headache.
Чудесно. Угу. Да, в руки брать не обязательно, достаточно просто иметь в инвентаре. Другой вопрос, что мы же можем найти какое-нибудь шматье, которое поднимет нам стойкость.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell.
С нашатырным спиртом у нас, блядь, 8%. Ясно, блядь, короче, пока стойкость не поднимем, не можем даже к трупу прикоснуться. Заебись, вода. Ой, с тобой. Золотая рыбка. Значит, я чувствую, сейчас мы будем проходить вообще любые, блядь, квесты, не связанные с этим пиздюком. И сначала найдем вторую ампулу нашатыря.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know.
Иди нахуй. Так.
You see several packaged.
Здесь.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays.
Yeah, there's like an ampule somewhere.
Блять, и все равно его нельзя купить. Ёбаный шашлык. Почему? Ай, ладно, хуй с тобой, золотая рыбка. Так, что у нас здесь? Осмотрите тело, висящее на заднем дворе танцев в тряпье. Это предварительный осмотр. Нужно всего лишь побороть рвотные позывы и подойти поближе. Это только хуй бы там плавал, блядь. Нам все равно становится хуёво. Нужно поднимать стойкость. И чтобы поднять стойкость, надо сделать хотя бы какой-нибудь квест. Я решил, начал на стримах, закончу нахуй на стримах. Но я решил, что если он у меня двинет кони, блядь, от моральных потерь, блядь, я его так и оставлю. На этом, типа, блядь, игра закончена, нахуй. Я потом на Steam Deck'е, блядь, побалуюсь, попрохожу, почитаю эту книжку, нахуй. На второй раз я в эту хуйню, конечно, играть не буду, нахуй. Крепись, блядь, съешь что-нибудь вкусненькое. Там шоколадка есть в холодильнике.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he
Опять
goes.
персонажи.
Почти. Я сижу, там все делаю, я там начальник написал, ребят, операционный тип делаю, все, начал переделать даже. Ну, нормально точно получится. Там 3 из 5 почти переделали, чувак, я еще есть задачи. Как я тебе благодарен. Короче, опять баннер говорит, вот у нас есть персонаж, его трогать не надо, вот есть лавка. лепи типа персонаж лавки и дофига предметов кидает. Ну, нарисуй там всяких банок, прочее. Ну, это звучит легко, блин. А когда у тебя на лавке миллион разных вещей, я, короче, с UI всяких иконок набрал, там, сундуков всяких, знаешь, прочее. Ну, собираю не ахти, конечно, ну, терпимо, да?
Мгм.
Он такой, скинь туда ящик с помидорами. Я такой, у нас-то, бля, вещи там, какие ящик с помидорами. А я уже заебался. Я рисовал этот ящик час, блядь. Нарисовал два, один конченый, второй такой, типа, сойдет. Ну это даже не ящик, а корзина. Ну там, в принципе, конченый. То есть, смотри, какая-то хуйня, блядь. Короче, и все, я понимаю, я уже устал вообще. Все, типа, я нормально уже, наверное, ничего не соберу. Ну кое-как за час, блядь, полтора вообще. Помнишь, ну знаешь, вот это видос, когда чувак сидит и потеет.
Да.
Вот это, блядь, я последние 2-3 часа. Я вот...
Ну, ты вспотел, я тебе
Я
хочу
тебя на
сказать.
балкон ухожу, ну что-то дует, блядь.
Ага.
Мокрый. Бля, я просто вот сел и 3 часа, а последние 1,5 часа я понимаю, что я полную хуйню сделал. А меня чувак спрашивает, что ты сделал? Ну, он не спросит, но все всегда спрашивают себя, что ты сделал за это время, бля.
Я
смотрю,
доля, мне сегодня Славик показал, блядь, написали искусственный интеллект, который теперь пишет, блядь, другие эти самые
Да,
программы,
искусственный
нахуй.
А, ну да.
Все, блядь, сейчас программистов половина тоже,
Так это же,
нахуй.
они же страдают, пиздец. Все думают, что художников нейросетка ебанула. Больше всех она ебанула программистов, за что Мусликарам говорит, а, суки, нам жизнь покалечили на себе больше всех. Типа джунов, ну, типа, начинающих вот этих, блядь, программистов вообще нахуй не надо. Сейчас нейросетки за них уже год пишут, вообще за них убалцы.
Меня же этот кореш, блядь, что вместе работали в троллейбусном, этот, блядь, он же все подался на программиста, с программированием никак не получалось, потому что с английским, блядь, и он ебал в дальнобой, типа, и буду это и учить. А сейчас нахуй ты кому уже всратый, блядь, ты 8-й год, блядь, что-то пытаешься, нахуй, ебаный шашлык. Да все полная хуйня.
И все, да, и типа и программисты вообще, то есть у меня друзья сами игры сейчас сами делают, там, ну, типа, нейросетка пиздец спасает, ты пишешь, что тебе надо, она там делает и все.
Ой.
Я, короче, вот последний... Блять, я все, я ему просто напишу, он говорит, нет, ну я, блядь, даже что-то цивильное собрал. Я думаю, пойду отдохну, пускай глаз размылится 10 минут. Конец, нет, лучше сейчас заново нарисую.
Добро. Так, мы тут в разгаре диалога подвисли, нахуй, ну важно.
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, and all around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Yeah.
It's official. He too agrees. This is the antechamber of the afterlife.
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout. Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already.
Behind the laugh, however, a touch of sorrow.
So tell me, what do you need? Huh? Oh, no, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work. The bosses, man. Makes sense. It sucks is what it does. He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. Keep him busy.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
Жиза, браток. Колечки постоишь дня 3-4, блядь, такая же хуйня начинается.
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees. It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks, workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out. Some pretty wild stuff I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town too. Like a strike negotiator type. They know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
Ah, yes, from the White Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. Us lorry drivers. Cam, your nurse. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing. Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Relax. He's merely joking.
Can't even get a few jokes past you, my man. I've got another haul of found cargo. Mostly sporting goods, tracksuits, and that kind of thing. They usually get shipped to Grad in the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately. Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road. This rockin' beauty. Sure is, like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6.
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable. Me and her spent a long time together.
There it is again. A little touch of sadness beneath his cool. He thinks he's spent too long in this lorry. The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm. Ease into it. Don't go too far. This seems like a personal matter.
You really are the law, aren't you? I get that being bluntly observant and inquisitive comes with the territory, but it certainly doesn't help with your conversational skills, does it?
Maybe the full-on direct approach wasn't correct. Damn, it's tricky business looking into someone's eyes and not doing it wrong.
Don't be a stranger.
Advanced race theory. Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant and, to be fair, a little ridiculous. The great race mystery has cleared up. All that's left to do is verbalize your thoughts. Go and talk to Measurehead about your newly found insights.
Забыть? Ебать. Нихуя себе. Неплохо. Ну окей.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor strip the back end of the cabin as a small perch to sleep. Large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads, Man from Eondal in the Lost City of the Pygmies.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
Looking for something? It's about biological determinism, natural law, the sorting of the races. Not the most popular topic nowadays, with a coalition in charge and all. You might want to change the topic. That is, bury your head under the sand like common sheep. I'm not the only one. Look, I've read books. The science of racial theory has all been proved, even if some people don't want to accept it. People who've studied these things say that you and me are superior by design. So, naturally, we Occidentals should be in charge. Obviously, you can see the merits in that. So, lately we Occidentals have experienced an unfortunate downturn when members of the superior race cease to believe in their innate superiority. They stop competing for resources. The problem? The damn kips are showing a real good game lately. Same with the mosquitoes. And the other intruders species too. They are on the precipice of cultural victory.
Cultural victory? What is this then?
It's what the kips of Boogie Street are going for, right under our noses. And the others too, on the radio. Heard any chansons lately? Heard any motetos or leader? It's true. Also, you need to realize the dangers of mixing races. Who knows what might happen if people don't stay in their birthplace? You might end up with a new sub-race, with unknown characteristics, leading to extra competition. That's why you've got to control the offspring. Go right ahead. You may be a cop, but that won't help you avoid the cat.
Lieutenant Kisaragi's stern expression remains unchanged, but you sense something there, below.
Пусть шевелится, блядь. Когда я говорил, что у меня нахуй полная амнезия, блядь, он мне говорил, займись, блядь, работой. Вот теперь стой и соси хуй, блядь, потому что я не впрягаюсь ни против, ни за расиста. Иди-ка ты нахуй. Мое дело, блядь, раскрыть дело, а не похуй как. Я как раз таки занялся работой на мой личный вкус еще. И мне поебать, какую сторону поддерживать. Главное, чтобы, блядь, в конце победа была за мной.
Not a lot of moral fiber on this one yet, he thinks, wriggled out of it.
А, это про меня. Ну да, блядь, есть такой, как червяк, нахуй. Ну, блядь, лучше быть живым червем, чем дохлым львом, нахуй. Так.
Oh man, that's great. Look at that guy go. I haven't seen anything that funny in a while. God damn. Thanks for that, but no, it's not mine.
He doesn't live in Martinez.
Bastards! We have a right to
up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here. You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down. We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes. Good. We're fighting for a cause here. Right to work! Right to work! Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence. Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have gainful employment. To make a salary. And feed their families. His manner of speaking is wooden. The tone of voice bland and uninspired. Almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases.
Риторика доебалась до того, что мужик говорит слишком просто и заученными фразами. Так а хули ты ожидал от работяги-то? Ёбаный шашлык нахуй. Работает себе мужчина и работает. Оставь его, блядь, в покое. Что за, блядь, выпердоны нахуй?
Maybe you should ask them the questions. Like, why we're not allowed to make a living here? We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scott.
Not before you get in there and get your ass whooped. Learn by failure, I always say. He might have some advice, but you got to at least try to fight Measurehead first. Return if you fail.
Ну, а открылась новая сюжетная, блядь, поворотик, нахуй, который заключается в том, что сначала надо неудачно дать головомеру по ебалу. Но учитывая, что мы изучили его расовую залупу, мы, возможно, сможем выкрутиться и перепиздеть все так, как нам надо. Но если бы не смогли набить ему ебало с первой попытки, можно было бы спуститься, этот чувак бы нам что-нибудь бы подсуетил. А возможно, пошел бы с нами. Так, это самое.
Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests. We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those who do want work.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were given a job to do! We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates. Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guards blocking the way to the access panel.
Ну, блядь, что-то я смотрю, что тех, кто хочет работать, больше, чем тех, кто не хочет работать. И набить ебало, нахуй, половине этих самых просто, ну... Почему, блядь? Я думаю, труда бы не составило, но было бы желание. Да и ёб твою мать, люди уже давно придумали кидаться, блядь, камнями, палками и вся хуйня, учитывая, что это, скажем так, достаточно, ну, конечно, мелкая, но в целом-то для игры крупная стачка, то, блядь, откуда прилетел коктейль Молотова и спалил к хуям этого охранника, никто, блядь, в жизни не разберется, ни один детектив, нахуй. Ёпта, тихоря кинул, нахуй, все сгорели, бля, ебать, нахуй, трупы растащили, дверь открыли, зашли, все, вопрос решенный. Ну да ладно, здесь такой функции, к сожалению, нету, поэтому будем пиздеть дальше.
And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer, or whatever he is.
Вот. А вот то, что диалоги, блядь, строятся на принципе Короче, ты типа должен был идти по всем этим людям в определенном порядке. Если ты его наебал, как я, то есть я сначала пошел к головомеру, потом еще какой-то хуйней занимался. А теперь, блядь, я типа не знаю, кто он. Потому что к этому я пришел позже, чем к нему. Хуйня. Нелогично.
Yeah, that giant up there on the bridge you talked to.
А, вот, теперь он говорит, что но при этом, блядь, я нахуй не узнал слова, блядь, не смог мой мозг соединить головомера, блядь, и черепомера, нахуй, ёб твою мать. Ну ладно, хуй бы с ним.
Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's trained.
Блять, какой бы ты ни был стратег, от камня в голову, особенно если их летит десяток нахуй, хуй ты уклонишься, блять. Даже если в голову он не попадет, куда-нибудь он попадет, вот тебе и вся стратегия, и вся тактика. Не обязательно, блять, бить кулаком по морде, можно, блять, и кувалдой пиздануть, ну что там такого, ну.
I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there, but that one's no joke, and my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters.
Да похуй, это вообще, блять, вы как будто, я не знаю, нахуй, такое ощущение, что выживали, блять, одни бойцы, ну, сейчас. Я вообще, блядь, дрался последний раз в 7 классе, а пиздили меня последний раз в 9, нахуй, ну, это же не значит, блядь, что я не умею за себя постоять, нахуй. Просто у каждого свой путь. А толпа это уже отдельная личность, нахуй, которая не подчиняется никакой другой хуйне. И там не важно, кто на что способен поодиночке, блядь. Это просто уже мясная котлета, которая несется по своим делам. Так.
Like civilized folk, you mean? These native fucks don't understand civil.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
Hold on, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
The unpromising race pupil returns. And
Хуйня это, пропусти меня в порт. Это моя схема. Это 100%, но у нас был где-то... у нас где-то был правильный ответ. Он звучит как: все спокойно в центре расовой бури, твой разум прозрачен и чист, сбивающая с толку филогенетика кажется все более далекой, и, будем честными, довольно смехотворной. Великая расовая загадка разгадана. Осталось только сформулировать свои мысли, ступай, поговори. Блять, и что, чем нахуй разгадано? Значит, вот мои эти самые, вот, значит, мои мысли. Значит, первая хуйня, это пропусти меня в порт, это вот моя мысль, 100% моя. Но нам надо попасть в порт. Хитро. Идешь. Притянуто за уши, блядь. Ну, такое, жиденький танец. Не-не-не. Ну, это, блядь, заново отыгрываем жалкого копа. Вот это вот 2 раза жалкого копа. Короче, похуй.
look, babe. The minion of law is also a racist, but his racism is basic and rude. He thinks he has solved the great race enigma by describing a road mechanism of scientific competition.
Блять, ты так слишком умно разговариваешь нахуй, что я просто, блять, если бы в этой игре была прокачка, как в любых других нормальных РПГ, блять, сука, я бы уже вернулся сюда часов через 5, блять, вот таким же кабаном, нахуй. Сука, я бы нашел огнестрел, блять, отстрелил бы ему голову хуям. Это, блять, настолько эффективнее, блять, чем вся эта пиздеж, блять, что-то рассказывать, какую-то хуйню, блять, что-то... Ой, блядь, сука, и ты вынужден это все слушать, еще искать лазейку, чтобы вот это все перепиздить. Нет, я понимаю, когда разговор идет конструктивный, но когда какая-то абсолютно, блядь, антинаучная залупа, блядь. Ай, с безумцем надо разговаривать на языке безумца. Нахуй. Только я признаю одно безумство, блядь, физического насилия. Нахуй.
So unadvanced.
Бля, а ей переебать можно, блядь? Ну, блядь, женщине-то я въебу, нахуй. Ну, пожалуйста, ну хотя бы в игре, блядь. Ёбаный в рот. Причем это можно пиздануть так, что она свалится с этого и сломает себе что-нибудь. Желательно, конечно, шею. Ай, прекрасно. Ну да ладно.
The basic race education he received in high school has led him to think his phylum are the sole authors of race theory. An esoteric study reaching back to the ancient mass society of Pericarnassus. Over 4,000
Это пизду, блядь, слишком много ты
I
пиздишь.
take pity on you. You clearly want to enter the harbor bad. Like a little boy who wants to go on the potty. I can press the button for you. It very well. You may
Похуй,
enter
мы
the
попали,
door
блядь.
once.
Если надо будет дать ему поебал, мы
Our
дадим.
race conversation here has concluded.
Finally. Let's go.
Вот у этого Куцараги правильный подход. Куда какая дверь, блядь, открылась? Алёна. Потому что за него я пройти не могу. Это, блядь, хуйню я только стоять. Сюда, что ли? А, сюда, блядь. О, нормальный ход педали. Так, что у нас здесь, она? Здесь у нас, значится, мы можем поднять уровень 1 штука. Блять, может стойкость поднять, чтобы мы хотя бы до этого трупа ебучего добрались. А, блять, я ж могу вынимать и вставлять обратно эти самые. Так еб твою мать, я возле трупа выну 2 очка, вставлю 3, стойкость повысится до 6, и пиздец, я его на органы смогу разобрать, нахуй, не блеванув. Вот это уже будет другой вопрос. Так. Давайте мы ее один хуй повысим до 3, потому что хуй знает, что нам это самое. Нам она, конечно, нахуй не нужна, но хуй бы с ним. Так, стоять, родина, блядь. Ага, все, не... можно типа вложить один раз, а потом вернуть нельзя. Вот ты ж курва мать. Ладно, хуй с тобой, золотая рыбка, ну. Угу. Сколько тут вообще уровней-то, блядь? Это то есть, ну, по-хорошему, если здесь у меня максимум доступно 2, блядь, из-за того, что здесь 2, то здесь я типа сильнее все равно не буду, блядь. И тогда мне надо было риторику качать 6 раз подряд, там, ну, или типа того. Короче, какая-то хуйня, ну... Ладно, похуй. Сделали и сделали, заеби ее конем. Угу.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just...
Let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming in and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol, Coulon, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably, the head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
The special borscht seems a bit odd in the list. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the drawer slides shut.
О, ебаться в пассатижина. Драма нам нахуй не нужна. Хуйня доля. Одевай на... А вот, смотрите, какой я модный, блядь. Конечно, конченый, все так же, как и раньше, но хотя бы в очках у меня визуальный анализ будет заебись. Как что-то там написано. Завалялись в офисе профсоюза работников порта. Идеально подходят, чтобы заполнять бумаги, когда солнце бьет в глаза, а также чтобы грозно смотреть на подозреваемых. Ну, самое то, ёпта мать. Идемте дальше, пошаримся.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change." The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move.
У нас же есть номер этой пизды, давайте ей позвоним.
It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, your finger is just drawing vaguely occult patterns in the air. Undoubtedly, no. Sure, why not? Muscle memory is a tricky thing. Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing.
Брал прилавок.
The white red
Руки
pen of
всякие
the
там,
Revachol
короче.
Citizens
Нашел
Militia
связь
is
старых
clearly visible
инвестиций, ну
on
типа
its
писал. Чашку их так склал, там в подарок какой-то запихнул. Он говорит, ящик с помидорами туда нарисую. Я взял помидоры откуда-то, блядь, ящик нахуй. Скидываю ему всю эту хуйню, говорит, блядь, дело в том, что, говорит, геймстоуны вот эти старые мы уже давно не используем. Мы их типа не продаем уже. Я такой, это ж картинка для красоты. Помидор мы там тоже не продаем, блядь. Ну до них ты что-то не доебался, блядь. Говорит, это ж просто прилад, ну типа визуальная, типа ярлык, блядь, что вот, типа. Больше этих заменю, говорит, замени, может, морковкой какой. А морковку мы, блядь, продаем, нахуй. Вот гинстоуны, которые там смотрятся, мы не продаем, а морковку, которую нарисуем, что речь тут.
Не, ну смотри, блядь, это ж типа может вызвать путаницу.
Нет, так в этом прикол, что там типа на столе все, там кристаллы, монетки, хуетки.
Ну и людей это будет сбивать с толку, что типа где-то можно эту залупу типа купить.
Кто знает, блядь, кто там в мобилках, это вообще просто как, ну типа, это ярлык, ну типа баннер, да, типа вот чувак стоит такой, типа, это всякой хуйни, там кто люди даже отсматривать. Ну окей, куда, я согласен. Ну, тогда, блядь, ну морковку туда нахуя, блядь.
Была,
А
блядь.
помидоры, мы же их тоже не продаем.
Витамин Б,
То есть,
нахуй.
понимаешь, давай
Всё.
гептонов спищенных доебались, блядь, да до морковки с помидорами, блядь, не доебаться. До оба предмета мы не продаем, блядь. Сука, конечно,
Нормально.
блядь, я писил, нахуй, что за хуя, блядь.
У тебя уже все, 19:26. Кидай
Ебался,
дурное.
гусарь, я сейчас сохраняю всю работу, и я ебал, бля, я сам уже ничего не делаю нормально.
И, блядь, купи пивка в еби, нахуй, отдохни, посиди.
Я-
Не, я часа 3 буду еще дрочить ту залупу, потом это сам. Так,
This is your cloak. You can feel it.
Yes, it does bear the RCM insignia, and we are the only detectives in Martinez. The service cloak issued to you by your station? Yes,
As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost feels like the cloak wants to deliver a message of comfort through your fingertips. I will shield you from the elements and give my life for yours. That's what the cloak is relaying.
блядь, столько бутылок валяется, бля, я их собрать не могу и без пакета, на.
Snow is quietly covering the numerous wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Well, they went through 6 bottles of potent Pilsner, 3 bottles of Commodore Red.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. Yes, this looks pretty advanced, all right.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather. The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons. Stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs, though. The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. They are slightly out of date. Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, prophet's disease, sudden death, hair death, erectile malfunction, critical flatulence, watery blood, black mucus, uncontrollable weeping, increased sensitivity to la opera, inoperable joint disorder. Maybe this was a bad idea. You take the painkillers. They are yours now. You stand and exit the booth.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed in a Royal Carabinieri uniform.
Why did you take that? Fine. But let's move. I don't want to be seen snooping around.
rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked marche and arrête are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block. Marche. On. Arrête. Off.
Container, I'll turn you nice and red.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he goes along. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisunt on Muindi.
Container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, now belongs to Everard.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat.
О, мы знаем половину нашего имени. Фамилия Дюбуа.
I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like...
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men Reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Hey, that's 25 real. That's good money. Think of all the stuff you could.
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
Продаемся, не? Деньги бы не помешали. Хотя, конечно, 25 реалов, это, конечно, смех, нам 130 надо отвалить.
Don't mention it. But also, don't forget it. I'm just kidding, of course.
He's not.
Продались. Перепродадимся, ёбаный рот, что тут такого?
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun. Oh God, why didn't you think of this before? Cops have guns. Where's yours? It's gone. Your gun is gone. There's nothing in your pockets.
Are you all right, Harry? You seem
О,
anxious.
я знаю, как меня зовут, ёб твою мать, Гарри Дюбуа, нахуй. Вот это я считаю успех. Путовики, мне что-то нравится.
It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
Ёб твою дивизию, мать. Значит, я взял бабки. Это -1. Пистолет оказался сюрпризом. Это -1, потому что я не доложил в карете, что я проебал удостоверение. Иначе бы мне рассказали про пистолет, я бы узнал, и для меня это не было бы сюрпризом. Если бы я остался стоять, это было бы еще +2, потому что стул, блядь, конченый. И, блядь, побочные эффекты, которые я в душе не ебу.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Блядь, а можно мне как-то зайти в меню и въебать нахуй лекарства, потому что я сейчас отъеду к ебени матери. Возможно, навсегда... А, подожди. Опа! Уямбарас. А, ну все нормально. Ебашим на все бабки, нахуй. 3% на успех. И естественная неудача.
Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves with it.
Mr. Dubois, you don't...
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is it?
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry! Mr. Dubois, are you okay? can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Я сингую 3 часа дня, я еще не жрамший, ёб твою мать, конечно. Ну, точнее, как не жрамший. Я настолько не жрамший, что выблевал еще и вчерашнее, блядь.
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throwing motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our...
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together, ask him questions. Police officer questions. It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to discuss it with you. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do it.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines. Incredibly talented at opening doors. And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colours, Harry. This really is very simple, and there's nothing shady about it.
The stars aligned into a cosmic frown here. He has your fate decided. Bide your time, however, and let the stars continue their course, and that frown shall turn into a smile.
Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door. Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage. Who knows? Only one thing is certain. If you work with him, you're going to get it back. And working with him might be the...
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Выполнено секретное задание, блядь, найдите свой пистолет. Ебать нахуй. Какая секретная охуеть. Вот это, блядь, секретное задание, блядь.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
Honestly, I didn't want to bring it up, Harry. I heard you have become Measurehead's race pupil. Of course, Harry, of course. You're not some kind of a fantastic racist now. And rest assured, no one's going to hear about it. No one's going to know what you did with race there, Harry. Your race bonanza is safe with me. Word of how racy it got will never... Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it. Of course, let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard, I call you Harry. My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of that?
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean, see what his game is first.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble, I could help you out with my big fat folder.
Words flow like a river of honey from his lips.
Мгм.
I guess word has already reached him. No matter. No harm done.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first. Everard's large hands are covering the folder, but the look on his face says, I know everything about
Oh, Harry. Oh, wow. This is really something.
I'm sure it's not that bad. At worst, he has an old RCM folder, and I very much doubt even that.
So how about it, Harry? You need assistance, I presume? It's Harry. Harry Dubois. And I can work with you, Harry. Now, what else can I do for you? Family? Harry, you're not a family man. There's not one peep of family in here. Unless you think you're a family man, do you strike yourself as a family man, Harry? That's why I like you, Harry. A good man knows both his strengths and his weaknesses, and you, my friend, you are one of the all-time greats. But of course, Harry, your precinct is the 41st and you live in Jamrock. You're a Jamrock boy. A long way from home, but that's okay.
He doesn't really seem to know any more about it.
Well, Harry, if I were to sum you up in one word, it would be apologetic.
А, блядь, сыграли 2 очка, которые попали в жалкого копа. Ладно, хуй с ним.
Yes, you seem to be, a lot of the time, but right now there's no reason to be. Let loose a little. Be you. Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me.
This translates into, haha, you guys are so corrupt.
I find that very suspicious.
I'm afraid this is meant for Union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry. Of course, Harry, of course. Let's not linger on personal details and amnesia. You wanted something from me. Let's hear it, Harry. Of course, Harry, of course. Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
How'd you like our harbor?
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably.
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains. Right. You talk to the boss, eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk. A key, huh? What door is this key supposed to open? Of course, I got you. You don't know anything. I got that key right here. And let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say. Polar weasel? Oh, I know what you mean. I'm pretty sure he's actually Occidental, though. So you're going to be committing fratricide, my racist friend.
Так похуй.
What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the wailing in rags. That's all I know. Our organization is what you call compartmentalized. Means we keep out of each other's business.
Okay, but where did you get the key from?
The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really truth. None of this mess we're in. This jiving and juggling. What's it for? To feed our children, I guess. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am, who you are, what we are fighting for.
He means he's not going to tell you, cause he doesn't know. But he will shoot his mouth off with you now that who he is and what they're fighting for. This is interesting.
We're negotiating our share. Aye. All of it. However, right now we want all the harbor workers to be on the company's board, so they could take part in the decision-making process.
This seditious talk
О,
sounds
это
like
вам,
communism.
конечно, хуй нарыло
Just
кто-то
so
даст.
we're on the same page, communism is basically wanting to kill the rich people or deporting them to a labor camp in southeast Grad. But don't say that out loud if you're a communist.
I think it's best you make up your own mind now that you've met him. In my eyes, he is a capable organizer and a decent businessman. I guess you kind of get to be the village chief. He oversees the harbor, makes deals with the owners or other relevant parties, watches out for his own.
By that, you mean corruption?
By heavens, why would he not be corrupt? We live in a harsh and disordered world, see? And in this world, the old man is corrupt for our benefit, and we know it. Appreciate it even. He is, personally, not too lavish. He is reasonably lavish, sure. That's his prerogative. It's not like you want a saintly demeanor on a corrupt motherfucker. That would be a manipulative illusion. Besides, there are no non-corrupt systems in the world anyway. And moralism is the most corrupt of them all.
100%.
This man has political theory, and it has not failed him today.
Sure thing.
This was great. You feel mentally reinvigorated.
The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing?
The man whispers a jaunty tune, a coastal breed. It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The time has come. The vows are blurred and flesh. Lower intestine. The term is metabolic and fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachot's problems? Yes, them. Wormen. Wormen. Men of Wur. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woo men need to go back to the fucking kitchen.
Ёб твою мать, стойкость отвечает за сексизм. 10 из 10.
That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that woo men need to know their place. You're going to keep your voos, right? Keep your voos, brota. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines. Knocking, it is one of betrayal and disappointment. An inconspicuous pile.
Так, блять, а как туда попасть-то? Ёбаный шашлык. Мы еще с этой девочкой не разговаривали. А, нихуя, тут еще локацию не изучил, оказывается, нихуя. Ну, блядь, так я вообще, оказывается, в нигде не был. О, кажись, пакет.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible. The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unideal.
Probably some kids.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk, written on the other side. That's Kuno on the lens. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast, studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church. You know this to be the star of Perikinesis, or the Cairo. The central symbol of the Perikinesian church, a star, a great moral height, to be strived towards. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
There was a revitalization project in 49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick. They got as far as the street lamps and that statue on the intersection before something went sour. I suspect it was Evars Claire's doing. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here. We should have done something about the Union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed, officer.
Hey, up here, piggo.
Блять, имя до сих пор неизвестно. Какого хуя, если мне сказали, что меня зовут Гарри Дюбуа? Ёбаный рот.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here.
Чего? Мне вполне себе заебись. Но ты ж не забывай, что я до заката ходил.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief even. The lieutenant is hatching some scheme.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines Group. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition also leases you the right to police West Revachol.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has got...
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
Согласен, требования вообще ни в пизду, ни в Красную Армию, ёбаный. Хуйня доля. Профсоюз будем нагибать, нахуй. И бабок у них отожмем, блядь, и нагнем. Ну, если получится, конечно.
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes, every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assumed that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, call me mañana.
This checks out.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts... Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a
mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened. And your opinion, Detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers. The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock come to plead for work where the Union refuses? If they were organised by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story. Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. It was a Union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare? Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years? Or with corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic, Verne-like corruption. Reaching into the bowel.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand. The RCM...
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt Verne myself. How could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Oh.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this, to gauge their reactions. It's all part of...
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? Did he now? Well, then it should be any day now. Unless, of course, he's lying to you. Anyway, was there anything else you... Of course, Detective. Should something come up later, until then, is there anything I can help you with? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi, from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
Блядь, умная баба, нравится мне.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. Feelings will guide the way.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
Да, сегодня, блядь, игра заебала меня куда быстрее, чем в прошлый раз.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
Officer. You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something back.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting it. Somehow.
Бля, я проебал проверку, но все равно дальше прохожу убеждение.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superior. The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbour. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to the RCM either. Perhaps it's time to look into it. Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems like a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Lonesome, long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox. 11 Voyager Road. You no longer live there. Those times are gone. And so are those people.
Not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation. Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's just quick to adapt. She's a professional, after all. No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union, or that we're on their take. We'd never hear the end of it. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large, and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence.
You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isla into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, Matt?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. That yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they're vulnerable.
How convenient that they're stranded like beached whales at that roundabout.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you.
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge. And the thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open the drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand. We did, on more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves. Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you. Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. Hopefully one of them will know something.
А мы попиздели со всеми 3, судя по всему.
It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. Why, yes I am. The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19, because that's the type of sloop it is.
А чё так безвкусно, блядь, яхте имя дать, это вообще, блядь. Я в воду не люблю, блядь, глубины боюсь, и вот это вообще, океаны, это вообще не для меня, нахуй, ну, блядь, ну, яхта, ну, это красиво, сука, даже если она на суше стоит, у нее должно быть имя, ну, это лично мое предположение. И да, это единственное, что зацепило меня из вот этой вот 40-минутной тонны текста.
It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing, though these days I mainly use it for business.
А для нее это просто средство передвижения.
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Lokayu. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Ravachol industrial harbor.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. Why what? Stop thinking. Take her down. You're not? Okay then. Just keep on admiring the boat then, unburdened by envy.
Officer, I assure you I'm...
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain. White, a qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license?
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not 1, but 2 insulindic regattas. Even finished once. The other time, I would have finished the race were it not for an urgent work matter, much like the one I'm on now.
Actually, you don't. The Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license. It's a little known fact among us law officials. I was just being polite. Even school children know the Wayfarer Act. Unless it's their passport. No.
You need to save face if you want her respect. Demand that passport.
Of course. Any more questions about the boat, sir? Good. What we do? I'm afraid I don't...
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo tribes, Saint-Baptiste, Elysium, an unknown entity known as
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
A billion?
$20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments. A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility. They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samoan and Insulindian Islas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavour. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it. You know more than you let on. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo tribes have failed or been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
Один терминал отвечает, блядь, за 8% грузов, блядь, по всему миру. Это получается, что таких терминалов на планете всего, блядь, примерно 14 штук. Плюс-минус 3. Что, блядь, за планета такая, нахуй? Как у маленького принца, блядь, вот такая, блядь. То если очень скучно, можно в 23 раза за день встретить закат, блядь? Или что? Так. А, это все предприятие 8%. Тогда базару зеро, блядь, похоже на землю.
There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone. Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy. Look at that lady. Take a gander. Why, yes, tucked away under that sturdy green raincoat, almost rustic in its simplicity, a silk shirt, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you, full of knowledge. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to within reason. Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes. A scythe of booze precedes you. You're poor, poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too. Yes, you're too ashamed to ask this person for money. Too. Oh God, the lieutenant is here too. Do not dishonor the force.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. Of course, Detective. Take.
О, блядь, это тоже разблокируется за эти. Ёбаный шашлык. Да, тут нихуя вообще ничего не просто, блядь. Ну, блядь, по крайней мере, бутылки можно собирать. Пакет я даже в руки взял.
Yeah, you bet keep walking.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head. You knock silently. The upholstery must...
I guess no one is in.
The leather upholstery is worn and roughed against your... In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you.
Let's be honest. This isn't what I joined the RCM for, but every day tells you something. Apparently, working with the local union boss to get info on an investigation is not something I'm squeamish about. I mind that the local thug is using the RCM for his busy work. But if this gets us to the bottom of this hanging, then I'm willing to look over it. On the other hand, we could just leave and tell Evrard we opened the door. No one seems to be tailing us to see if we actually did it. Yes, presenting a fabrication is known to get results here and there. You took this task. You make the call.
The door is right here. You can just open it and be done with this. Besides, if you never open it, you're never going to find out what's behind the door. You try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of... Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack. There might be important information in the apartment. This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty. This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle. It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Mm-hmm. The tenant is an old-fashioned guy.
By old-fashioned, he means very right-wing. The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colourful fabric with a sun sewn onto it. Like all few... A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes, and others.
И у нас есть желтая кружка, блядь.
A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. There's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the bodies were drawn. The images betray a lack of interest in human beings. They are merely unflattering characters. The owner of these mugs doesn't like people of other ethnicities very much. Anytime, the lieutenant picks up one of the mugs.
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
О, ёбаный шашлык, вот то, что мне надо было.
Yes, your broken mug friend would feel very much at home here. The same humor, the same mocking lines.
There's the missing tin soldier. Whoever lives here might have used the Whirling's container to dump his trash. And now they've drawn the ire of the Union.
An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues have a way of magically connecting to other clues. Damn, perhaps you should break into apartments more often.
Who knows? I'm not expecting too much from this clothes in the trash lead either way. It might turn out to be some random local matter, but still, a nice coincidence.
You could ask Everard who this person is once you're done here.
Yes?
trash container stands in the The smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste. The container sounds a muffled gong.
Kuno's got this!
If there ever was such a thing as an ugly kid, then this is it. He's almost exquisite in his ugliness.
Oh yeah, Nappa Goofy Kuno! Right in the dick, Kuno! Get him right in the dick!
It's loving in the dick.
The boy is sweating profusely. His eyes are like two black holes and his jaw is twitching as if trying to break free from the empire of his body.
Fuck that! Kuno, yeah, right!
They pay you no heed or pretend not to notice you.
Shits himself.
The rake, Kuno! You should throw the rake at
The fuck? Does Kuno know what a rake is? Kuno is not a gardener. Alright, entertain the Kuno. Show me what you got. What you got there? What you got?
Irregular speech patterns, overconfidence. Could this kid be on drugs? This warrants further investigation into this Kuno.
Shitload pig. What's your question?
Don't tell the pig shit, Kuno! Pig's choking! He's totally choking!
If I were to want to waste my time, which I do not, I would ask them who he is, how he got there, and
The usual being. Have you seen anything out of the ordinary? Or have you seen anything suspicious?
Kuno's fuck imp. Kuno uses the fuck imp for target practice. Probably climbed. Kuno was busy down the road when that shit went down. You heard Kuno. Kuno wasn't even in Martinez. Kuno wasn't in Revachol. Kuno wasn't regional. I don't know. Some fucking Mesk or I don't know. Some other place. Night City. Kuno was in
Найт-Сити,
fucking Night
блядь.
City.
Да, если бы ты был в Найт-Сити, я бы прострелил тебе башку, блядь, потому что там это было бы охуительно приятно и возможно. Возможно, стоит поискать. Вот ты повод заглянуть в Найт-Сити.
There is no Night City anywhere. That sounds like the name of a city in some pulp science fiction novel.
Да не, есть один, параллельный с вашей реальностью.
Kuno gives this info out on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know.
Thanks, Kuno. That's one name you can now cross off the list.
Just a couple of pigs sniffing around in the dirt. That is...
Yeah, you tell the faggoty!
Looks like you're a faggoty now, whatever that means. The suspicious question doesn't really work.
You're testing Kuno's...
Get lost!
Kuno's Kuno pig?
It's always Kuno, never I. Clearly the kid's using the third-person perspective as a shield.
Yeah, Kuno's in a fucking gang. In a bang gang. Kuno bangs for Magier, bangs for Mazda, bangs for Revachol.
He lays the names out there with pride and precision, like cards on a table. Right when he's getting...
Watch out, Kuno! He's trying to fiddle you! He's gonna put his hands on you! Help! Pig's got Kuno! Help! Rape!
Блять, не надейся, мало того, что ты ребенок, так еще и страшный, сука, как атомная война. Какой тебе секс, блять, отойди в сторонку, тебя, блять, приятнее отпиздить.
Help! He's got the Kuno, help! Help! He's digging...
Escalate, Kuno! His dick is out! You're...
Pigs in there in Kuno! Somebody, please!
How did we get here? How did this happen? This makes no sense. There may still be a way out. Just appeal to his reason.
Успех. Аминь. Ёб твою мать, я с начала игры хотел ему переебать, нахуй.
The blow connects surprisingly well.
Охуительно, блядь. Не то чтобы это было так сложно, но в этой ебучей игре, блядь, сука.
Officer, this is very far from normal
Пошел
place.
нахуй, пиздуй
Get
в свой
yourself
57-й участок вместе со своей ебучей каретой, блядь. Кусачки мне одолжил и пиздуй отсюда, блядь. Будешь ты мне подпиздывать. Сука, блядь, я стою нахуй с абсолютно полной амнезией, блядь. Все еще на текущий момент. Нихуя не соображаю. Ты, блядь, руки в брюки нахуй, за сраку заложил, блядь, ходишь за мной следом, как, блядь, ебаный хвостик. Нихуище не делаешь. Ты ж, сука, детектив, блядь. Ебаный в рот. Задавай вопросы, блядь. Блядь, помогай, нахуй. Вообще, отвези меня нахуй в больницу и разъебай с этой хуйней сам. Нет, нихуя. Ходишь сбоку, как приблуда какая-то ебучая, нахуй. А потом мне только, блядь, моральные наставления даешь. Мне нахуй совесть в этой игре не нужна. У меня и так 24, блядь, всяких разных личностей, которые в диалогах пиздят самостоятельно. Какой ты... Цараги, иди нахуй. Мой ответ Куцараги в данной секунде.
For heaven's sake, he thinks, this has gone too far. Don't make this any worse than it is.
Да мне похуй,
Just
что он
get...
думает.
Okay, pig.
If this act was about him trying to establish dominance over you, it's safe to say things didn't go as he'd planned.
Kuno knows to respect that violent shit. You should see Kuno's dad. Kuno's dad doesn't give a shit about anything.
The creature behind the fence has fallen ominously silent. Only...
Okay, pig. Talk to Kuno. We're back in this shit. The fuck do you want?
He's on your crime scene, bossing you around. And he's been here for some time too. This is where he hangs out. You have to get more out of him. He could be useful.
Fuck no!
Kuno, they've almost made you a...
Ease off, see? Kuno always takes the bullet over the hammer.
He'd rather die than work with the justice system.
Right, pig. This is where Kuno plays with his little wooden choo-choo. What do you want with it? Yeah, Kuno doesn't know shit about that. That shit is beneath Kuno. Listen, listen. Kuno doesn't care about this small-time shit. Just listen. Kuno could hook you up with some sweet rags. Shit like Kuno's wearing. Your size, good price. 500 real. Pig, these are found modulars. Liquid fit, performance crotch, urban survival shit. Made in Mirova by scientists. Can't believe it, you need this shit.
These could drastically improve your chances of survival in the urban wilderness. Coach Physical Instrument endorses these pants. They are tartan ready. They will also make you into an idiot.
Alright, Pickle.
Don't do business with the pig, Kuno.
As you can see, Kuno and C don't trust you. Can't do business without trust.
There's more to his distrust than being a pig. He feels threatened by something obscure in you. What that is, however, remains a puzzle for now.
Look at that fucking shit. You're trying to get Kuno killed.
Ну, вообще-то очень хочу, блядь. Но пока такого развития событий я не нашел. Поищем, поищем. Может, когда появится пистолет, будет посвободнее, блядь.
Fuck does Kuno know? Kuno's not a fucking fucking actor.
The lieutenant takes a quick note.
It's a trap, Kuno! Don't climb it, Kuno!
That's just some shit roofing gift.
There it is. That strange feeling again. As if there was more than meets the eye about that pile of roofing material.
In an eye. Fuck are you talking about? Ask me a normal question.
They're trying to make you feel...
You glance again at the roofing material in front of the shack. Yes, you should go back there.
The fuck? A mug in the trash? Is this about the fucking clothes again? Yeah, Kuno sees where this is going. Kuno's got that fast brain. You saying you picked it after the mug fucker? Cause he's the clothes fucker?
I can't hear you, Kuno! Speak louder, Kuno!
Shit, that's tense. Someone's going to the beat-down basement, huh? Mug guy gonna get tied to the radiator. Kuno doesn't know who put that shit in there. And if he did, he wouldn't squeal. But...
Tell the Kuno who it was. He's curious. He likes putting two and two together here.
Stop turning into a pig, Kuno! They're trying to get you hooked on the snitching! Get away from my Kuno.
Yeah, get your bacon shit away. Kuno doesn't like to be seen with the popo. Get your shit done and out of Kuno's face. Dunno, keep that garden I used to wear.
Kipped is a pejorative term used to describe people of South Seminese or Erie Uppergite descent. It used to be a common first name among the Erie Uppergites of Ilmara. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, that's what Kuno said. She couldn't handle the heat, so she took off. Kuno can take it. Shit's nothing to Kuno. Look, Kuno doesn't explain shit. Kuno just says shit.
Yeah, her. What was she doing in the greenhouse in March anyway? What kind of gardening is done in March? Yes, it seems suspicious. You don't like things being like that. Suspicious.
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. You're dreaming, pig. That's not how...
A little. But don't expect anything to check.
Don't let him dominate you, Kuno! Fuck his fat ass!
The fuck about it? You're testing...
Get lost!
Yeah, like a fucking volcano.
You were lucky you didn't die there!
Yeah. Kuno's got some advice for you. What are you? Like 80, right? Maybe you should stop embarrassing yourself in front of a fucking kid.
Perhaps you could compress this negative energy and turn it into some sort of a Kuno-fied non-vomiter. That's right. Turn your weaknesses into conceptual strengths. Try it again now.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell. Emitting it is all it does.
Так, что у нас с визуальным анализом? +1 пока что только.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesa. From the sides of his head, to your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. After rifling the pages with your thumb, the magazine is divided into...
Пизду, потом займусь. Мне интересно. Так. Пам.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots, anywhere from 6 to 12.
Так, настоебало что-то, блядь, до невозможности. Поэтому делаем вот так. И вот так. Сохраняем игру. И на сегодня, блядь, заканчиваем этот театр абсурда, потому что он меня уже основательно доебал. Прям, блядь, фу, какая гадость. И не игра. Но в целом сгодится. Хуй с ним. А вот, блядь. Оказывается, нихуя себе, тут добавили кнопку выйти в эфир, блядь. Ёбаный шашлык. Ну да ладно. Собственно, что я хочу сказать? Ничего я не хочу говорить. Я уже начитался, немножко напизделся, наругался. Кошмар какой-то откровенный. Я хз, блядь, что и кому здесь могло понравиться и так далее. Какая тут вариативность. Ну, в целом, пусть с ним. Вроде играбельно. На этом на сегодня закончим. Давайте выйдем в главное меню, чтобы была статичная картинка. Вот такая, например. И вот как раз где-то у нас идет время. 55, 56, 57. Всем спасибо.